Well, folks, this is the final presentation of the innovation stream. And this presentation, Roman and Jan will show you how the new Flowable AI capabilities can help you bring your processes and cases to life. One more thing, don't forget to use the common functionality to ask your questions. We will answer all of them at the end of the stream. Roman, Jan, the stage is yours.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Matthias. A few weeks ago, our product team released a new AI feature, and in our presentation, we want to showcase you how you can leverage Flowable's new AI integration in your models. So now, first, our presentation consists of three parts. At first, I will just explain you what this new AI release is. Then afterwards, Roman will showcase you the demo. And then finally, we have the Q&A. So, hi everyone, my name is Jan. I'm a software engineer living in Zurich. Um, I'm 31 years old. I'm working for Flowable for more than 1 year now, and I help customers solving the problems and develop solutions with them together.
And hello, everyone. I'm Roman. I'm a solution architect with Flowable. I also live in Zurich as Jan. I've been with Flowable for almost 5 years now. Time flies fast. I'm 30 years old, 38 years old, and I'm helping our customers be successful with Flowable. That's my main role as a solution architect. So, Jan, continue, please.
Thank you, Roman. So now, what is this AI early access release? So basically, it's a special release of the Flowable platform, which is outside of the normal release cycle. So release is available for all of our customers. You just have to contact your customer success manager or the sales rep, and they will help you to get access to this release. But everything is documented, or you can just click AI on the main document page on our website. So now, what are the features of this new release? So basically, we have four new cool features. So at first, you can generate new apps. You can generate individual apps for your, for your individual models for your apps. Then you can leverage the new AI service directly in your applications. And then finally, you can also interact with documents and using AI here. So at first, generating apps, I think everyone knows this who models. You have a blank canvas. How do you start building your apps? Here, AI can help you. Um, you can use AI to generate a scaffold of your app, and this will basically generate a data dictionary based on your prompt. It tries to find the best data dictionary for you. Based on this data dictionary, it decides to create a case or a process as your main model. Afterwards, it generates this main model, and then it will generate sub-processes and also forms for your tasks here. Here you can also see you have a history of your generations you have done before, and also the prompt on the bottom. Then another issue is when you already have an existing app, how do you generate individual models such as processes and so on? So you also have this blank canvas problem here. Here AI can also help you. With our new feature, you can generate single models based on existing models. It will generate your cases, processes, forms, or data dictionaries. What you can also do is you can provide feedback on your generated models and refine it for your need, and you can generate more and more um, attempts here. So it will basically be tailored for your needs. But this was already covered in the previous demo, and you can also check it out directly on the YouTube channel here, where our product team showed you the feature here. Also, what's new is the new AI service. So you have a service registry which provides a new type. It's the new AI type, which you can directly use in your processes, cases, or also directly in forms. So this opens up new AI capabilities, and you can use it together with the existing Flowable features here. You define your prompts with the input and output parameters. And also what you can do is you can directly test your prompts using the input directly in design. So you have quick feedback here. And you can leverage already the existing service registry feature here. So you have your AI type here, and you have the set of operations which utilize this new AI feature. So what you can also do is, in the new release, is you can analyze your documents, you can interact with your documents. So you have a document attachment, you just attach your document here, and then you can ask questions about the content, or you can translate the document, or you can also do some sentiment analysis here to analyze the priority, for instance, or what the tone of the text is inside the document. So I just showed you the features, and I will hand over to Roman. He will showcase you a demo.
Thank you, Jan. So what we are doing here now is we are showing you how you can really use these new AI features within Flowable, what you can really do with it. So for that, we created our own app. We are showcasing an insurance, small insurance, that is processing incoming emails from their customers and reacting to them. So let's slip into the role of a customer that is sending an email to our insurance. I'll just log in as that customer. And I have the possibility to compose an email and send it to our insurance. Fortunately, I know the contact email address, which is contact@insurance.com. And what I want to do today is I want to inform my insurance that I've moved to a new address. I know that this was also covered in another case. We want to show all different possibilities of how we're doing this. So let's have a look. So I have an address change. I've prepared an email to send quickly. So I'll just paste it in here. And so our customer writes, I'm really unhappy because I still have so many boxes to unpack, but here's my new address. So I'll send this email now to our insurance. Let's just send it quickly. And now we can go over and move into the role of our client advisor on insurance side. For that, I'll just switch over to Flowable Work. And here I have a dashboard where I can see my customers, I can see their data, I can see their date of birth, street, house number, and so on. And here we have Elias Schmid with an existing address, and we want to change that. And for that, the email was sent in, Flowable processed it with the inbound main channel, and it started a process to handle this address change. As you can see already, it recognized that this is an address change, and it knows which customer that this is for. So let's open this task up. And the first thing that you see here is that the analysis of the email content shows a negative sentiment. This was done in our process, and the negative sentiment comes, of course, because he has a lot of boxes to unpack. Further, we can see the kind customer details coming from our CRM. On the right side, we have the subject and the message that we've seen, and we have a summary, which was done with the AI integration that tells us that he's unhappy about the boxes, but he has a new address. We see the current address. We see the extracted updated address from the email. So it took the unstructured email and it extracted it into structured information. And to help our knowledge worker to really focus on the relationship with the customer and not spending time with formulating emails, we already have a proposal of what they could write back to our customer. So we have a subject, successful change of our address, and we have a mail that is just a confirmation that the address has been changed with the new address, and so on, in the name of our client advisor. This content here has been generated in the process for our client advisor, so they can go in, they can change something. For example, And then I can update the address, which will update in the CRM and send out a reply to our customer. So let's do that. And our customer should receive an email. Let's have a look here. Oh, yes, we have an email that we just wrote with the adjustment from our client advisor that confirms that the email, the address was changed. So Elias is happy with his move. Over time, he has unpacked his boxes. He's happier now. He goes out and about, but something sad happens. He drops his phone. So what are we doing? We want to show how he's doing a claim with his insurance to get the money for the repairs. So what Elias does is he composes a new email to the insurance. Broken phone. And I have the body also prepared here. So he's writing, my phone fell down and now it's broken. I've repaired it and it did cost 488 francs to repair. So let's just send it out to our insurance. And we'll slip back into our client advisor in here. Let's just refresh it here. And we can see that we have a new claim without receipt. So the system recognized that this is a new claim. Now it's not an address change anymore. It's now a new claim. And we can open it up. We have the subject, we have the body, we have the customer data. Now we have also the policy details because now they're relevant for our customer. And we have a response for our customer pre-generated. Now what the system recognized is that this is a new claim, but the customer did not provide a receipt for the repairs. So we have to ask for that receipt. Here, thank you for reaching out. We have received your claim. However, we noticed that the repair receipt is missing from your submission. Now, what I can do here is I can give feedback to Flowable to adjust this email. So if I, for example, want to change the tone of voice for my email, I can do that directly here, and it'll regenerate the message based on my feedback. So maybe this is too formal for me, so I can say make it less formal, and I can regenerate the response body. So this is using the AI feature, AI service feature directly in the form. And as we can see, we have a shorter message. It's a bit less formal. So that's what we want to achieve. So I can directly send this out now to our customer. Elias is happy that he got such a quick response here in his mail, and he, of course, he has the receipt, so he will reply it. Of course, here's the receipt, and I can attach my receipt that I have here on file and send it back. So Flowable will now correlate this email with incoming receipt with the existing process, and then continue with the existing process there with the client receipt. If we go back in here, the task is not here. That's perfect moment for me to remind you to write your Q&As questions into the comment field, and right on time we have the new task with receipt. So let's go in. We can see the receipt are on the right side. We have the customer and policy data. We can see that the repair costs were extracted correctly. The payout was calculated. So let's have a look at our receipt evaluation. The document is a valid receipt for mobile phone repairs with the total cost. However, the receipt is not for the correct customer, as the name on the receipt is Hans Müller, not Elias Schmidt. So let's have a look. Oh, yeah, right. The system detected that it's a correct invoice, but it's not for the right customer. And it also has a recommendation to reject this receipt and request it again. So let's do that. Dear Mr. Schmidt, we have received the receipt. Upon receipt, we noticed that the receipt is issued under the name Hans Müller. So we already have a pre-generated mail that we can write back. And I can also, same as before, I can give more context. Now I want to make it more formal. I can generate it and it'll write it even more formally. Sometimes it takes a bit longer because with AI it takes some time sometimes. And we have a mail that is even more formal to send out to our customer. What I can show you also directly here, what we've mentioned, what Jan mentioned in the beginning in the slides, is the Flowable Assistant for attachments. So here we have our attachment component. We can click on the Flowable Assistant. We can ask something about the document. So for example, I could ask, what phone model is it? And the AI will analyze the content of the email and give me directly an answer to that. I can get other insights. I can check the grammar, or I can, for example, translate the document or get the sentiment of that document. So we've prepared the email. We know we want to have the correct receipt where we're sending it out, and we'll go back to our customer inbox. Here we've received the response that invoice does not match. Elias, of course, is very embarrassed because he sent the wrong invoice. Oh, I'm sorry. Here's the correct one. And I'll attach one that is in his name. So let's send it. And if we go back to the client advisor page, we'll have to wait a few seconds. Don't forget with your Q&A questions. We're really looking forward to your interesting questions. And we have a new task here for this claim. And now it's with receipt. We see that the name is now correct and that the AI proposes to accept the receipt and initiate the payout. We also have the response method. We have the total repair cost in here. We have the deductible. We have it reduced by the deductible, and the total payout amount of 288 francs will now be paid out automatically to our customer. So I can send this out, and our customer is happy that they've received their email here with the response. Now, these two use cases that I've shown you so far, they are pre-modeled. So we have specific processes that act on individual intents. We have an AI service that detects the intent, and for an address change, we have a specific logic, and we have a specific logic for our claim processing. Now, what happens if a customer sends in a generic question that is not covered by our process? We can still handle that. So we can also send in another message. So let's do that. And now Elias wants to know what his premium is. Elias lives in Switzerland, so this time he decides to write this in German. I'll translate it for you. So he will write eine Anfrage, which is an inquiry. And he wants to know what his premium is. So that would be, Hallo, was ist meine Prämie? What is my premium? Elias. So I will send this to the insurance. And then the same processing happens as well. There, the intent will be detected. It will detect the sentiment of the email and everything. And then we can go into the client advisor page and have a look on what happened. Do we already have a task? Not yet. Let's wait a few more seconds. And it's the last time I hope to remind you about the Q&A questions. And here it is. So it detected that this is not something that we've covered in our process. So that's why it starts with other, but it knows that it's an insurance premium inquiry. So open that up. We have a summary in English that Elias is inquiring about the amount of their premium. We can see the inquiry, the message, and based on our context of our customer and the question that they've sent, the AI has directly prepared a response, even though this is not a case that we have covered specifically. So what we're doing is we are taking the customer details, the premium details, and the message that the customer sent, and we give it to AI. And based on the information, AI is then able to respond to the customer directly. So in German, the AI has generated, "Hello, Elias. Thank you for your question. Your current premium for your mobile phone insurance is 120 Swiss francs per year. This insurance covers damages up to an amount of 2,000 francs with a deductible of 200 francs. If you have further questions or need more information, we're always at your disposal." So with this, we can also act on cases that we haven't thought about before, and the AI can then act on the information that we have in the process, in the case. We can directly answer them and pre-write the messages, so our agent, our knowledge worker, doesn't have to spend time writing the email, just checking it and then sending out. So we can then either decide to not send an email, or we want to send an email. So let's do that. Go into the email inbox of our customer, and we'll have the response also in German. So with that, it's with these features, with the AI service feature, you can also act on different languages, because it doesn't matter which language it is written, the AI will recognize it. And you can really focus on the knowledge of our workers, so they only have to take the decisions and don't have to spend time writing the individual tasks. So that was it for our demo. And I will hand over to Jan so we can figure out how this was modeled in Flowable design.
Thank you, Roman, for this really realistic demo. So let's see how we modeled it. So here we have our main process. So at first we have event registry. This listens for any incoming email. It processes the email and extracts all the data we need for our process. Then we do some pre-processing stuff here. So at first we detect the customer, our Elias Schmidt. Then afterwards we detect our intent. We have seen it in our first use case where we changed the address and the customer was really frustrated, and we saw this alert on the top. And also we detected the intent here. So we have seen that he wanted to change his address here. Then we summarize the email, extract all the information we need, do the summary, also extract the language the customer wrote this email, and if he had any attachments, we handled them. And here we have the three use cases Roman has shown. So at first we have this other use case where the customer asked for his premium in German. Then we had this issue where the customer broke his phone. So he wanted to report this damage and get this claim. And finally, we have this change address intent. So now let's have a look at how the intent detection works. So I'll just drill down here. Here we have this service registry task. Here we have our model reference. And here we leverage the new AI type. Here with our set of operations we have seen in the slides before that I've shown you. And here we have our operation for detecting the intent. Now let's have a look here. Just some basic information. We have the input we need to feed our AI service. So in our case, we just use the subject content and also optionally the content HTML. And here we have our prompt. So our prompt consists of a user message and a system message. In our user message, we have all the necessary information that we need to generate the prompt, and our system message, which is basically the context to generate everything in our instructions. So in our case, it just basically says, as an insurance worker, provide me the intent of the email based on the subject content and the content HTML. If the intent was detected, choose the most fitting value. And then we have our three use cases. They are just strings, report damage, change address, and other. And based on those information, our AI service starts working, thinking, finding the best answer here. And here we have our output. This is just a structured output. So in our case, it's just a string, and our variable. So it's basically a service registry here. So just a familiar interface if you have already used this kind of activities. And also what I already mentioned, you can test directly the prompt in design. So let's have a look here. I moved to a new place, and then we can directly use the AI here, and voila, we detected the intent. He wanted to change his address. So now let's go back to the overall process, and now let's have a closer look into our report damage use case, which Roman showed, where the customer, just a quick summary, at first he wrote an email without attachment, then he wrote an email with an attachment with the wrong um, information, and then finally with the correct information. And this is displayed in this process. So what does this process does? So at first we check if he has an attachment. If he doesn't have an attachment, it goes this way. So at first we have a user task. This will generate all the necessary information we need. It then have a response email to the customer. Then we wait for his response. And if he attached some information, some documents, we will go back to the start. Now, if you wrote an email with some attachments, what we will do, we extract those documents from this email, and based on this document, we will investigate this document. In our case, we have receipts. This is leveraging the AI service, and basically what this check receipt does, we check if it's valid or invalid. So in our case, we check if the all the informations were correct. In our use case, we have both covered. First, the customer did the mistake that he attached the wrong email, which can happen. And then afterwards, he did everything correctly. And then here we do prepare some advisory text for our insurance advisory. And then we have a user task. And then we send a response email. Or we can also do not send a response email here. And if you if you want to send an email, we check if we wait for a response, and if the customer sends back a response, we check if it has any attachment, and then we reset the decision and then go back to the start. So now let's have a look into one of these user tasks. So here I have to unlock first. So just this basic form we have seen before. So this is the form where Roman showed where he didn't attach any documents to his email. So like all the basic data, customer data, policy data, and this is which is more interesting. It's the response part. So we have the response subject, body, and some context. So these are all infos that we could use. And here we have a service button, which uses the same AI service model which we have seen before. So that's really cool. So you can just quickly reuse the service model, select the operation that you want. So it's really convenient, and it abstracts all the information that you need. You just have to define your input and output. So, so yeah, you have the operation, you want to generate a generic text, you have the input, output. So what's really interesting is that we leverage the AI capabilities with the Flowable features. So here we use some Flowable functions. So in our case, we stringify our JSON and get the customer information from our form. So that's really cool. So here we really leverage the features and utilize both powers of AI and of our local tool. And yeah, we just plug in our user message and the system message, and then it just writes the response body here. So this was the form. This is the overall process. And I have one question to Roman. What would happen if the customer write an email directly to an advisor?
Thank you, Jan. That's a really good question. So we've covered now the inbound mail channel. So all mails are coming into a central email address. But what if a customer is writing directly to their client advisor? For that, we can use the same features that we've seen now in Flowable, in the forms, for example. We can leverage them somewhere else. So with Flowable Forms, you can use them also in external applications. And what I've did here is I've created a Outlook plugin. So let's show up my Outlook. Thank you. And we can now use this directly within Flowable. So this Outlook plugin is available here on top. So here I have a nice Flowable icon that I can click. And what this will do is it will retrieve a form definition from Flowable and then render it here directly in my Outlook page. So let's do it. Let's click. It's loading up, and I can see the address change form directly in my Outlook. It also loaded the existing customer address from our CRM system, and it used the AI service button in the form to extract the information from the email with the new address. So that's really cool because you don't have to leave Outlook. You can just do it directly in here. One quick note: this Outlook plugin is not part of the product. We've created this for just for this demo to show the capabilities we can do with Flowable Forms. So now I can just click on Save, and it will update the address directly in our CRM. It will might inform the customer and so on. Depends on your process. Now, what I can do here, I can also interact with Outlook again. We've interacted with Outlook to extract the content of the email, and now I can interact it to generate a response. So I click on reply, I get the new message with a subject to our customer. Thank you for your email. We have successfully changed your address with the new address. So that was it for our demo. We've tried to show how you can really use the new features in your Flowable in the context of a process, not just how the features work, but what you can actually do with them. And I am really looking forward to your questions in the Q&A session.
Thank you so much.
All right. That was a great session. Thank you so much, Roman. Thank you, Jan. These are the things we have to expect when we're holding a live session, obviously, but you did a great job. So let's have a look. There are a couple of questions from the audience, and I have some questions myself. Rob wants to know which LLM is this using and how configurable is the choice of LLM? I think, Jan, do you want to take this or Roman?
I can reply to that.
Okay, Roman.
So for this demo, we are using the OpenAI 4.0 model. But we've tested the AI integration also with Anthropic Claude API, with the Anthropic Claude API. Under the hood, we are using the Spring AI module. So theoretically, we can also support all the other AIs that Spring AI supports. So there's a lot of different of them. We've tested it with OpenAI and Claude, but there's also others that should, in theory, work directly as well.
Yeah. So the next question from Ursula goes into the same area. Is it possible to use a custom version of ChatGPT, a self-hosted instance of OpenAI as the AI service within Flowable? So maybe
I can continue with that as well.
sure,
Yes,
yeah.
that is possible. Thank you, Mersel, for that question. That is possible. The Spring AI properties that you can look up in the documentation of Spring AI, they allow to set a custom base URL that Flowable should contact to execute these prompts. So you can call also your custom API.
Mm-hmm. Good. Then another question also from Ursel. He's asking if the Flowable version with AI capabilities, which is AI EA1, is based on 3.16.3. So whether this will be merged into the main version at some point, or if this will remain a separate branch. I think here the safe harbor statement applies as always. So anything we say related to the roadmap has to be taken with a grain of salt. But in general, we will need to first collect some feedback. I think we can say
Mhm.
that before we
Yeah,
decide how to exactly
Yeah.
proceed with
yeah,
this.
yeah. What we can already say is that we already have customers that requested access to the early access release. So there's already customers using it, but we're still waiting for feedback, and we encourage everyone to contact their customer success manager or sales rep to get access themselves and try it out and give us feedback.
Yep. Then Susan wants to know, do you have a lot of use cases or templates that can be starting points for small businesses to use?
For
That's a
well,
good question.
we Flowable itself is very industry agnostic, so we don't want to provide specific models. We have our example models, like the loan case that we have that you can look at in the trial. But what you can do now with these AI features is you can generate your starting scaffold for a use case. So you can,
That's
as
exactly the
we've
blank
shown,
canvas problem, right?
exactly. So when you start, you don't know what you want to start. So you can use the new generate AI and generate app feature or generate individual models feature to give you already a starting point from which you then can continue.
Exactly. It will generate some forms, quite simple forms, right? Simple data model, but it's a good starting point,
Mhm.
definitely. I've tried
Yeah,
it several times. It works well. Yeah. Sorry,
you
Jan.
can also watch the YouTube video where we show you how this feature works.
Mhm. So let me see. Yep. I mean, this is a very similar question by Rob. Would it be possible to get these example models in order to understand the patterns you followed for successful use of AI, unless they're documented instead? Well,
The features themselves, they're already documented. So you can go to our website, documentation.flowable.com. There's a new link on the right side called AI, and there you have a documentation on how
Mhm.
you can set it up, what kind of dependencies you need, what configuration properties you need to set. And there's also documented how all these features work exactly. The models themselves, I'll follow Michal's statement in the previous talk. If you ask very nicely, we might make them available. Yeah, we'll maybe make them a bit easier so you can run them with your own mail server. We'll have to check how exactly we can make that available.
but again, here, I think the same applies as long as you have a good grasp of service models, as long as you understand how inputs and outputs work. It's nothing different than that. It's
Yeah,
actually
Exactly,
quite simple to
exactly.
use.
yeah,
That was exactly the goal of this integration. So you configure it once, and then the modelers, they don't really need to worry about how it's integrated, how it works, which AI is it using. They can just use the service task and call the AI directly in the models.
All right, we have two questions by Jay, who's asking, are the AI capabilities available with the self-managed version or only with the cloud version? Yeah, this I can actually answer. Um, because
really.
right now it is only on the self-managed version. So if you have the features yourself, or if you host Flowable yourself, you can run them there. Right now on the cloud, these are not there yet. This may change, but
Mhm.
currently it is up to you.
I can tell that we are working already on making this available in the
Mhm.
trial as well.
But right now it works on both ends.
Mm.
Then, well, actually, Micha also pasted something. Then Jay is also answering, is that a Flowable plugin that you're using with Outlooks? With Outlook, sorry. He's probably talking about your add-in, right, Roman?
Yes.
Can we get that add-in? It's an
So
awesome.
the add-in is currently just a proof of concept. It's not part of the product. It's currently not of the roadmap. It's just for me to showcase how you can leverage the AI button also in Outlook.
Mhm.
But in theory, you could set this up in your own project. Needs a bit of investigation how you can create add-ins. The initial setup, the development setup, is fairly easy. Outlook directly supports React for add-ins, which is our front-end technology. But to use it productively, there's a bit more effort needed since there's some questions around single sign-on and hosting and distributing the plugin that need to be solved as well.
Hmm. Same with yeah, whether we can use this in production or not, right? It's for the moment. Yeah. Would you say we can use this in
Uh,
production, Roman? What do you think?
I don't think so, no. This is early access release and not part of the normal release cycle. And that's also why these features don't have currently maintenance or support. So that's probably the best reason why you should not go productive with that.
All right.
Use it, get to know the features, give us feedback, and then we can make it even better.
I think we can do one more question, right? Frank is asking, can you please share what are the endpoints and input-output mappings you need to do sentiment analysis and intent extraction capabilities you showed? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think again, same thing applies here. If
yeah, I
you're
can take
asking
over.
nicely. But
So yeah,
do we still have time, actually? Sorry, team. Do we still have time for quickly showing this? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay. Let's quickly show your screen then, Jan.
sure. Yeah.
Oh,
So we don't use any endpoints here. Yeah.
I can. Let's go
Yeah.
in here. Let me just look for the right
It's
one.
detect sentiment.
it's the third one.
Detect this one. No intent. That's a that's a service. But we want to show the process.
Or am I
Detect
sharing?
sentiment process. So this one.
Do I share now? Yeah, sure.
No, I am. So for
Okay.
we have an operation detect sentiment. We have an input where we put in the subject, the content HTML going in from the email, since the mails can come in as plain text and email. And then as output, we have the sentiment and the priority that we can also use to prioritize the tasks. If we go into the model itself, we have the detect sentiment. We have these inputs that we've just shown. We have the prompt. Here we have the claim word, and we want to detect the sentiment. Detect the sentiment can be neutral, positive, or negative, and we have a priority detection, and the output parameters as well here.
Also, we didn't use any endpoints here. If you can go back to the prompt, you can see that we leverage backend expressions in the user mappings.
Yeah, so these are just variables in the case. So we have the subject and the content of the email that we put in. So I'm not sure what kind of endpoints that the question is relating to.
So it's all
Maybe
integrated.
as an addition, it's using the chat completion feature of OpenAI. Maybe that was the question.
Good. Yep. All right. I think that's about it, right? I think this concludes the session, unless you guys still want to say something. Jan, Roman, stage is yours.
Well, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Was a
Also for
lot
the
of
great
fun to
questions.
prepare.